Welcome to Murders and Minivans, where the coffee is cold, the kids are wild, and the crimes are absolutely unhinged. I'm Stephanie.
And I'm Tally. Let's talk murders, motherhood, and why we trust absolutely no one. If you hear P coughing, she's got a really weird chest cough. It sounds exactly like the cough that I heard in kindergarten. Mm-hmm. And she's got it, and she really went downhill when I put her to bed.
Yeah, because I didn't hear it at all.
I was like, you don't have to go to school tomorrow. Like, you could just stay home.
Especially if you cough. It gets more comfortable at home.
When Brian was putting her to bed, she started crying about these Pokemon cards. So she had been given Pokemon cards by somebody at school.
Okay.
And so she was trading them for other Pokemon cards. But the people that she was trading with, the kids, said that they were fake. And they got mad at her. So she started to cry about that.
Oh my gosh.
Thinking about going to school tomorrow with her Pokemon cards. Because we ordered her some more. I went up there to give her medicine and then put vapor rub or whatever on her back. And then I was like, you don't have to go to school tomorrow. And she's like, no, I want to. I'm like, is this about the Pokemon cards? And I'm like, because this is controversial, but
fuck those cards.
Yeah, but like, this is how I talk to my kids. I'm like, those kids they don't know what they're talking about. Mom used to trade Pokemon cards when I was your age. And she's like, you did?
Yeah, these are not new cards.
Yeah, and I'm like, you know what? And they always told me that it was fake, and I knew that it was real because I got it from the store. And I opened the pack, and kids will just say that because they're not happy with the cards that they have. And I'm like, they're stupid. And I'm like, you don't say that to them. Yeah. Now that I'm saying it out loud, maybe I should have said that. I'm like, they're just being silly gooses. And then she's like, okay, maybe I will stay home tomorrow if I don't feel good. I'm like, you see?
Yeah, honey, you're sick. Just stay home.
Yeah, but that's Pokemon card drama.
Yeah, no, that's fair. But as a reformed teacher, I would say, if you're sick, please stay home.
Yeah. Yeah, her cough is just very bad.
Oh, and it's going to get everybody.
Yeah, that's the thing.
Oh, and you're leading up to your week off, so you don't want...
Of course I am.
Yeah.
Not my week off. I'm not off. I'm still working.
No, not for you. You don't get breaks.
Yeah. Well, this is a very interesting case.
Excellent.
As they all are.
Happy to hear it.
I'm very curious to see your thought process throughout this case.
Oof, okay.
So, it's January 29th, 2022. It's the early morning hours in Canton, Massachusetts. Snow is falling steadily. It's blanketing everything in white. At 34 Fairview Road, in the front yard of a Boston police sergeant's house, a man is dead.
Whoa. Wait a second.
Who's the author now? You got competition.
Beautiful.
It's my one sentence.
There you go.
His name is John O'Keefe. He is a 46-year-old Boston police officer and a 16-year veteran of the force.
The police officer was dead in the police officer's yard? Oh, okay.
Yep.
Just want to summarize, make sure I was there for it.
Yeah. But here's where it gets complicated, where everything gets complicated, because what should have been a straightforward investigation into his death became one of the most controversial, divisive, and absolutely wild criminal cases in recent Massachusetts history. I can't say a lot of words, but I can say Massachusetts.
Yeah, keep going.
Yeah, I'm on
Just
a roll.
say it over and over and over again.
So I'm going to take you into a deep dive into the Karen Reed case, which is a story about a dead cop, a girlfriend accused of murder, allegations of a massive cover-up, and a trial that split an entire country in the middle. We have John O'Keefe, and friends called him JJ or Johnny. He was born December 8th, 1975, Sagittarius.
Hey.
And he grew up in Braintree, a Boston suburb. He went to Northeastern University and got his bachelor's degree. Then he went back for a master's in criminal justice from UMass Lowell. And he joined the Boston Police Department and served for 16 years.
Wow. So he's educated and experienced.
Yes.
Interesting.
But here's also what really defines him as a person. In 2013 and 2014, his sister and brother-in-law both died suddenly.
Aww.
And John didn't hesitate. He took in their 2 kids that were left behind, obviously.
Ugh.
His niece and his nephew, and he raised them as his own. He was a dedicated dad and a good cop, and overall just a really good guy.
Yeah, he sounds like a nice human.
Yeah.
Like a well-rounded human.
Yeah. So then there's Karen Reed. She was born February 26th, 1980, Pisces.
Oh.
She grew up between Taunton, Massachusetts, and Blacksburg, Virginia. And she went to a private Catholic school, Bentley University, where she got her bachelor's and master's degrees in finance.
Wow.
Smart people.
A lot of math. That's a lot of math.
By 2022, she had been working at Fidelity Investments for 15 years. And she was also teaching as an adjunct professor at her alma mater. Alma mater?
Alma mater, yeah.
Do we have that here? Is that a thing here? Alma mater?
I don't think so.
I think it's just called like the university that I went to.
Yeah.
Karen was very smart, successful, and well educated, and not your typical murder suspect. Karen and John briefly dated back in 2004, but it didn't work out. Fast forward to 2020, everybody was alone. So they reconnected on Facebook and started dating again. By January 2022, they had been together for about 2 years. Let's go back to January 28th, 2022. It's a Friday night. John and Karen meet up around 9 p.m. at CF McCarthy's, which is a local bar in Canton. They have some drinks and they're hanging out. Just before 11, they move to another place across the street called the Waterfall Bar and Grill. At the Waterfall, they meet up with some of John's colleagues, and this is where we need to pay attention to names. There's a lot of players here.
I'm worried.
I noticed you didn't bring your notebook. I'm like, oh no.
I know. I stepped out the door. I'm like, oh, okay, it should be fine. No,
It's
I
okay.
have my phone is open on notes. That's why I wanted to be like, I'm not Googling anything this week. I am just, it's for my notes. And the title of the page is actually called Notes. So,
Oh, I love that. Okay.
yeah, Karen reads at the top.
There you go. So we have Brian Albert. He is the Boston police sergeant
Brian.
and John's friend.
Sergeant.
Then Brian's wife, Nicole. Then we have Nicole's sister, Jennifer McCabe. She's a big player in this. And her husband, Matthew. Also there's Brian Higgins, who works for the ATF, so the Bureau of Alcohol, Tobacco, and Firearms and Explosives.
Wow, okay.
Mm-hmm.
Neato.
Big guns. So the bar's closing up, and the group gets invited to continue the party at Brian Albert's house on Fairview Road. His son was turning 23, and there's a birthday celebration happening. Security footage shows Karen and John leaving the waterfall together at 12:11 a.m. Now Karen's driving. She has her Lexus LX 570, which is going to become a major piece of the story. She's driving John to the party, but here's the thing. She's not familiar with the neighborhood. So Jennifer McCabe calls John at 12:14 a.m. to give them directions. Jennifer and her husband arrive at the house at 12:18 a.m. Karen and John pull up 6 minutes later at about 12:24 a.m. And this is where the stories diverge completely. The exact moment where everything splits into two different realities. So, according to Karen, they sit in the car for a few minutes. She's feeling uncomfy about going in. And she says, John basically says, I'm going to go in to the party, see what it's all about, and then I'll come in or I'll text you or whatever and I'll let you know.
Sounds like a very husband answer.
Yeah.
Right?
Like, I'm just a very nice guy. So she says, okay, I saw him walk towards the house and he went inside. And she was waiting a bit, and then she got impatient, and then she was angry, and she had been drinking, and she's like, so he just is partying, and he left me alone. That's the kind of vibe. But here's the problem. Not a single person who was inside that house that night says that they saw John O'Keefe enter.
Oh.
Not one. Not Brian Albert Sr., not his wife, Nicole, not their son, not their daughter, not Jennifer McCabe, not husband, Matthew, not Sarah Levinson, not Julie Nagel, nobody. No one says that John came in. Meanwhile, there were other people that were arriving at the same time. A guy named Richard D'Antuno drives up in his F-150 with Ryan Nagel and Heather Maxon to pick up Ryan's sister Julie from the party. All three of them testify that they saw Karen sitting alone in her vehicle. Conflicting stories. Ryan even says that he saw her just driving safely in the neighborhood afterwards. So Karen's story is that she drove home to John's place on Meadows Avenue. And this is where kind of things get messy. Between 12:33 and 12:36 a.m., John's phone records 7 unanswered calls from Karen. She connects to the Wi-Fi at John's house at 12:36 a.m. Then she starts to leave voicemails. At 12:37 a.m., and you can hear her voice on these voicemails, she says, John, I fucking hate you.
Wow.
12:59 a.m. John, I'm here with the fucking kids and nobody knows where the fuck you are, you fucking pervert.
Whoa, okay.
I don't know,
This is
pervert.
yeah.
1:10 a.m. It's 1 in the morning. I'm with your fucking niece and your nephew, you fucking pervert. You're a fucking pervert.
Wow.
1:17 a.m. John, I'm going home. I can't believe inaudible. I need to go home. You're fucking using me right now. You're fucking another girl. And then redacted, his niece's name is sleeping next to me. You're a fucking loser. Fuck yourself. But like in a Boston accent. One of the accents I can't do, and I wish I could. Because that is a fucking great accent. You're telling somebody to fuck off in a Boston accent? They're fucking off.
Yeah. Fair.
They're fucking all the way off. Okay, so the prosecution is going to use these messages to paint a picture of a volatile relationship and an angry girlfriend who's been drinking. Karen's last attempt to call John is at 1:18 a.m. And then
This is less than an hour after she says she dropped him off. That's not a long time to be so hostile.
So I think they were like fighting before.
Yeah,
and they
well,
were
they
like
would have had to be
they were kind of
be
like
so spicy right away.
they were kind of tumultuous.
Oh, okay. But they're both very educated people.
Yeah.
And I just expect him to be a little more level-headed.
No. I honestly, the more educated you are, to me, I'm like, the spicier you are.
Uh-oh.
Are the ones that I met.
I think that I didn't realize how spicy it was.
Spicier. I never went to university, and I'm like, everybody's really aggressive right now.
You guys are nuts. You know the stress.
So while this is all happening, there's other weird stuff going on with John's phone. At 12:40 a.m., he gets an unread text from Jennifer McCabe saying, hello. At 12:42 a.m., where are you? At 12:45 a.m., hello. He never responds again, and he never read them.
Okay, that is weird.
Yes.
Because it seems like we just exchanged numbers kind of text, right? Like, here's your number. Hello?
Yeah. She is fishy in this. You'll see.
Okay.
And here's something really interesting that's going to matter later. John's phone is tracking his battery temperature throughout the night. Your phones can track everything about you.
Didn't know that.
Whether you think that they do or not.
Oh, I'm sure they do.
Yeah.
I just didn't realize the temperature.
Literally, you can't get away with anything. At 12:37 a.m., it's 72 degrees Fahrenheit. 12:45, it's dropped to 66. At 12:53, it's 61. By 1:07 a.m., it's 55 degrees. That's a steady temperature drop. And that's going to become a key piece of evidence because it suggests that the phone and presumably John was outside in the cold the entire time.
Yeah, passed out or something.
Karen wakes up at 4:38 a.m. and then she realizes that John isn't home. She starts calling him again. At 4:53, she calls Jennifer McCabe from the niece's phone asking for help finding John. At 5 a.m., she calls Carrie Roberts, one of John's friends. And here's where everything gets interesting. Carrie Roberts later testifies that Karen initially yelled over the phone, "John is dead. Carrie, Carrie." Then she hung up and called back to explain that she was scared John was dead and that maybe he got hit by a snowplow. Because it had snowed very heavily that night.
Right, why would you automatically jump to death?
I'm just picturing myself, if Brian didn't come home and I woke up in the middle of the night and he wasn't home, I would assume he was dead.
Like, I joke about it, but I don't know if I think for real that Neil's dead.
I would probably call you and say he's dead.
Okay.
Like, if Brian didn't come home and it was 4:30 in the morning and he wasn't anywhere, I would assume
and
he's
he
dead.
wasn't answering his phone.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. No, you're right.
Yeah.
Like, I joke if he's even 20 minutes, because I know his route.
Yeah.
And so I will sometimes, and maybe saying it out loud isn't funny and shows how crazy I am, but I will say, "This is his wife.
Yeah.
Phone code." And then I'll type the code.
Oh, that's so funny.
If he's late, because everyone he works with is so reliable and it's a steady hour thing.
Yeah.
And so this is shift change. It lasts from this time to this time, and then it takes this time to get home.
He probably thinks you're crazy, but I'm so on your side on
He
this.
probably thinks but he married me, and I've never not been like this.
Yeah.
So from the beginning, and there was one time, there was a weird, horrible snowstorm. He did go into the ditch once, and so he was late getting home because it was a narrow road, and the plow actually pushed him into the ditch.
Holy fuck.
And he was fine, but then he was late.
Yeah.
And then there was one other time he was coming home for night shift, and he was just too tired, so he did pull over, sleep for an hour or two, and then drove home. It was a 45-minute drive home. Like, it wasn't, but it was enough that he's like, I need to sleep.
Yeah.
And so there were a few small times where I showed him my true colors.
You know what? And you have to appreciate that too.
Well, and I think obviously he does. Otherwise, he would not have put up with it. But I think he likes that someone cares where he is.
Yeah.
When he's going to be home and worries for his safety.
You know what? And Brian used to say that about driving home late at night and how he would get tired and stuff driving home. Mm-hmm. And he doesn't work night shift. But I was like, I don't understand that. And then the older I get, if I'm tired, I'm driving home, I'm like, oh, now I see how this is dangerous.
Yeah, get it now. Yeah.
You have to like hyper focus. I can't listen to a podcast. I got to listen to Bad Bunny.
Whatever. Or turn the temperature down so it's colder in the vehicle or something.
Yeah, open the window, whatever.
Yeah, something.
Yeah.
Chew gum. I chew gum a lot to keep me.
So John's niece also testified that she heard Karen saying things like, could I have done something? Could he have been hit by a plow? Maybe I hit him.
What?
Yeah. At 5:07 a.m., Karen's backing out of John's garage in her Lexus. This gets captured on his Ring camera. She visibly bumps John's parked Chevrolet Traverse, and you can see his car move slightly when they make contact. And that moment is going to become important. And the exact same time, 5:07 a.m., Jennifer McCabe makes a call to her sister, Nicole Albert. Nicole owns the house at 34 Fairview Road, where John's body is about to be found. The call lasts 38 seconds. but Jennifer later denies speaking to Nicole. I'm telling you, she's
Phones
fishy.
track everything.
Around 6 a.m., Karen, Jennifer McCabe, and Carrie Roberts arrive at 34 Fairview Road. Karen spots something near the flagpole in the front yard. It's John O'Keefe's body lying in the snow. 6:03 a.m., Jennifer McCabe calls 911 and says, "A man passed out in the snow. I think he's dead." A man. Okay. She knows who this is. At 6:04 a.m., 1 minute later, John's phone registers movement for the first time since 12:32 a.m. So there was almost 6 hours of no movement, then suddenly activity on his body is being discovered.
Yeah.
According to multiple witnesses, Jennifer McCabe and 2 paramedics, Karen is repeatedly saying, "I hit him at the scene. I hit him, I hit him." But here's the thing. None of them wrote this down in any official report. Not one. Karen says that she was just asking questions like, could I have hit him? Did I hit him? Mm-hmm. John O'Keefe is declared dead at 7:59 a.m. at the local hospital. The medical examiner performs an autopsy on January 31st, rules the cause of death as blunt impact injuries to the head and hypothermia. And then on February 1st, 2022, just 3 days after John's death, Karen Reed is arrested.
Wow.
She gets arrested and initially charged with manslaughter, leaving the scene of a motor vehicle causing death, and then motor vehicular homicide. She pleads not guilty. The prosecution's theory is straightforward. She was drunk, she got into a fight with John, she backed her car into him either deliberately or recklessly, and then she drove off, leaving him to die. They say that her car had a broken taillight and scratches, and that pieces of taillight were found at the scene. Almost immediately, things start getting odd. First, there's lead investigator, Massachusetts State Police Trooper Michael Proctor. He's going to become a central figure in this fucking disaster of a case.
Oh, okay.
Mm-hmm. So he is a 12-year veteran of the state police, according to the Norfolk Detective Unit. 16 hours into the investigation, before John's autopsy has even been performed, Proctor is texting his high school friends about the case.
What?
He writes that, quote, "They won't be able to prove Karen hit John with her car," unquote. He says, quote, "All the powers that be want answers ASAP," unquote. And then he calls Karen a, quote, "whack job cunt," unquote, and says that she's fucked and has zero chance that she skates.
Wow.
So the lead investigator, less than a day into the case, is already calling the suspect misogynistic slurs and declaring her guilt to his buddies before anything even happened.
Ew.
So Proctor also texted his sister saying that he hopes that Karen will just kill herself. That's the lead investigator.
Wow. What an asshole.
Yeah. But wait, there's more. On February 2nd, 2022, the same day as Karen's arraignment, her attorney, David Yannetti, gets an anonymous phone call. The caller claims to have background in Boston law enforcement. He says to Yannetti that Brian Albert and his nephew Colin Albert beat John O'Keefe to death inside of the house at 34 Fairview Road. Then Brian Albert and an unnamed federal agent, later revealed to Brian Higgins from the ATF, dragged John's body onto the lawn.
What?
This caller eventually was revealed to be Stephen Scanlon, a local private investigator. He gave a statement to the authorities confirming he sent this tip, but apparently nobody investigated it.
What?
Corruption.
Yeah, ew.
Yeah. By April 2023, Karen's defense attorneys, David Yannetti and Alan Jackson, Alan Jackson's very interesting. He's defended high-profile cases. You know, Nick Reiner.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. The Reiner family.
Yes. So Nick Reiner hired Alan Jackson as his attorney, and then Alan Jackson, I think, quit.
Oh, so he's definitely guilty.
Yeah. Yeah. But Alan
Rob Reiner is the dad and his wife.
Yes. So Alan Jackson is a very good defense attorney.
Okay.
So they're starting to present their theory publicly. They're saying John was murdered inside of the Albert house and there's a cover-up involving the police. Oof. They're saying that the injuries on John's arm look like dog bites. So he had these deep scratches on his forearm, like right here. Mm-hmm. They're saying that's not from car impact. And they point out that Brian Albert owned a German Shepherd. And Brian rehomed this German Shepherd almost immediately after John's death.
Ooh, uh-oh. Okay.
It's a little suspicious.
Yeah, but it wouldn't kill him. Dog death.
No.
So it's just weird.
That's fucking weird.
Yeah, it is weird. I agree.
So, May 2023, at a pretrial hearing, Alan Jackson says, quote, "Certainly, the Massachusetts State Police is involved. There are people that were in that house that are involved," unquote. Karen tells reporters, quote, "I tried to save his life. I tried to save his life at 6 a.m. I was covered in his blood. I was the only one trying to save his life, unquote. So she did go to the body, like touch him and like, yeah.
Yeah, okay.
In June of 2022, a grand jury had already indicted Karen on upgraded charges. Second-degree murder, manslaughter while operating under the influence, and leaving the scene of a personal injury or death.
Holy.
She pleaded not guilty and posted $100,000 bail. I always wonder where people get this money from. Even if you look, well,
I have no idea.
he would have to liquidate fucking all of my assets. Most of them.
We'd be asking family money.
Oh,
we'd
God.
be asking people for money.
Big time. I think I'd have to ask your family for money.
Yeah. Like
$100,000?
How many assets do we have that we could liquefy? Not that
Holy
many.
shit.
Yikes.
But as the defense digs deeper, they're uncovering more and more problems with the investigation.
Good.
For instance, nearly 3 weeks after John's death, Proctor allegedly locates fragments of a taillight at the crime scene. 3 weeks.
Yeah, and also you said it was in winter. So if they were there, you would look harder.
They would have done digging, for sure. This would have been crucial evidence, and it's just sitting there for 3 weeks.
Lies.
The defense basically says, like, this is suspicious as hell.
Yeah.
And they suggested that Proctor planted the evidence.
Mm-hmm.
They also discovered a video of Karen's car at the Canton Police Department was mysteriously reversed. So it was a mirror image that made the damaged taillight appear on the wrong side of the vehicle.
What?
Mm-hmm.
That's stupid.
And the defense also reveals that police used absolutely bizarre methods in their investigation. They used leaf blowers to clear snow at the crime scene, which potentially destroyed evidence.
Yeah, and it would have blown away these alleged fragments. That's what I'm saying. Like, yeah, no, that's weird.
They collected evidence in solo cups and Stop and Shop grocery bags.
No.
Which is not proper evidence collect procedure. That's what you do at like a backyard barbecue.
Yeah.
And here's a big one. So none of the first responding officers took pictures of John's body at the location where it was found before moving him to an ambulance, which is like basic CSI.
Yeah.
You document everything that you have and you don't touch anything. Mm-hmm. So witness interviews were not conducted the day after John died. Critical witness interviews weren't even recorded. The Massachusetts State Police and Canton Police did not maintain a police presence at the Albert household before the secondary search. Canton Police did not turn over video footage of Karen's Lexus being impounded. It's either gross incompetence or something worse. And remember those text messages from Jennifer McCabe saying, "Where are you?" at 12:42 a.m.? Mm-hmm. The defense has another bombshell about Jennifer. According to Karen's defense team, at 2:27 a.m. on January 29th, while John is presumably lying dead in the cold.
It should be very fast, also.
Yes. Jennifer McCabe does a Google search on her phone. The search is, "How long to die in cold?"
Wow.
Yeah. Jennifer argues that the search was not done until after they found John's body, and that the timestamp only shows when she opened her browser, not when she actually searched. That's not how fucking things work.
Yeah, I was like, are you sure?
No.
I was just trying to think, I'm like, I don't think that's how the internet works. I don't think she
Not at all.
understands how the
And
internet
this is like in 2022. It's not like in the 90s.
Yeah.
Where like that could be like a possibility.
You'd have to like sign on to your dial-up.
Exactly.
No.
So multiple prosecution analysts back her up on this technical explanation because the defense argues that this is their smoking gun, proof that people inside the house knew that he was dying. But there's also the question of what happened to John physically. So the medical examiner ruled his death as blunt impact injuries to the head and then hypothermia. Mm-hmm. Because he had these deep cuts and scratches on his arms, like a dozen of them, the defense brings in experts who say they're consistent with a dog attack. And John is also missing a lot of injuries that you would expect from being hit by a car. So there's no broken bones except for his skull. Mm-hmm. There was no significant bruising on his body and no typical car impact trauma patterns. Because like it wouldn't just be your head.
No, it'd be very specific. You would get the impact your whole body.
Yeah, exactly. Your whole body would be bruised. The defense brings in accident reconstruction experts, including 2 obtained by the FBI, who say that John's injuries are inconsistent with being hit by Karen's car. Even the medical examiner employed by the Commonwealth of Massachusetts can't definitively say the injuries match the prosecution's theory. And then there's John's fitness tracker. I think it's like a Fitbit or something else. His phone data shows that he took 36 steps at 12:31:56 a.m. The activity ends at 12:32:16 a.m. So it
wasn't very long after arriving at the party.
Like 1 minute. After that, there was no movement until 6:04 a.m. when his body is discovered. The defense argues that this supports Karen's claim that John got out of the car and walked into the house. Mm-hmm. Meanwhile, Michael Proctor had his personal ties all over the case. His sister texted him that Brian Albert's wife wanted to send him a gift after the investigation.
Weird.
Michael knows these people. By January 2024, the U.S. Department of Justice had gotten involved. Letters between the DOJ's General Counsel and the Norfolk District Attorney Michael Morrissey confirm a federal investigation into Morrissey's office. The feds were looking at this case.
Yeah, because they're probably like, what the fuck is going on over there?
Yeah. April 16th, 2024, Karen Reid's first trial begins. The prosecution is led by Adam Lally and Lori McLaughlin. Karen's defense team includes David Iannetti, Alan Jackson, and Elizabeth Little. Jackson and Little flew in from LA specifically for this case. Other notable people that Alan Jackson had defended before: Harvey Weinstein. I don't expect you to know who that is.
I know the name.
So
he's a bad guy.
And Kevin Spacey.
Oh, yes, he's a bad guy.
So he's a big name. Judge Beverly Canton is presiding. And from the start, this trial is a circus.
Oh, no.
The prosecution's opening statement lays out their theory. Karen deliberately ran John over after a night of heavy drinking. They say the stuff with the broken taillight pieces. They mention a hair that was consistent with John's was found on Karen's car. Fucking obviously, if they're dating. They bring up the couple's arguments, including a fight that they had during a trip to Aruba in December of 2021. They play those angry voicemails that Karen left, and they argue that her behavior that morning that John found, saying I hit him, shows consciousness of guilt. The defense comes out swinging. Alan Jackson argues that Karen is being framed as part of a law enforcement cover-up. He says John was beaten inside of the Albert house and then left outside to die. He hammers on Proctor's personal relationships with witnesses, his biased text messages, and his shoddy investigation work.
Good.
And where Proctor takes the stand, it's a disaster for the prosecution. The defense reveals all of those texts, the misogynistic slurs, the hopes that Karen would kill herself, and the admission that Proctor didn't initially disclose his personal relationships with witnesses. The defense also shows the jury the absurd evidence collection methods, the solo cups and everything.
Ugh.
Prosecution presents over 70 witnesses during 8 weeks of testimony.
That's exhausting.
And the defense countered with their own experts. They even had a veteran snowplow driver testify that he made multiple passes by the Albert house during the time that John was allegedly in the yard and he never saw a body. Prosecution says that the snow impairs visibility and that eyewitness testimony is unreliable. Medical experts testify about the dog bite theory, but forensic bite mark evidence is notoriously unreliable and it's been largely debunked. Commonwealth rests on June 21st, 2024. Defense rests on June 24th. Closing arguments happen on June 25th, and then the jury starts deliberating. Outside the courthouse, every single day of the trial, there's protesters, dozens of them, and many of them were wearing pink, which was Karen's favorite color. They were holding up free Karen Reid signs, cheering for her and her lawyers, and the case had become a phenomenon. There was a Facebook group supporting Karen with over 50,000 members.
Whoa.
Yeah.
It was just against the corrupted police? Is that what it was? Okay.
Not everybody was on Karen's side. John O'Keefe's family and their supporters are there too. They believe that Karen killed John, and they're furious that his death had been turned into a media circus.
Wow. So the family thought he was murdered.
So, and here I feel sympathy here a lot because I feel like this is one of those stories where the victim's story gets kind of washed away.
Yes.
And they're focusing on the hype. So this part I do feel very bad for them for. July 1st, 2024, they send a final note. They said, quote, "We find ourselves deeply divided by the fundamental differences in our opinions and state of mind, deeply held convictions that each of us carry, ultimately leading to a point where consensus is unattainable." Unquote. Mistrial.
Oh, wow.
After the mistrial, several jurors reached out to Karen's attorneys. They say that the jury had actually reached unanimous decisions on some charges. Specifically, they say that the jury found Karen not guilty of second-degree murder and not guilty of leaving the scene of the accident. They were split on the manslaughter charge, like a 9-3 split, and 9 jurors were leaning towards conviction of that. If this is true, this matters because of double jeopardy rules. If the jury had already acquitted Karen on those 2 charges, she couldn't be retried for them in the States. Karen's attorneys file a motion to dismiss the murder and leaving the scene charges, but Judge Canton denies it. The defense appeals to the Massachusetts Supreme Judicial Court, also denied. There's a lot of court stuff here.
Wow.
I apologize. Prosecution announces that they're going to go for a retrial. Immediately after the mistrial, Massachusetts State Police announced that they've relieved Proctor of duty based on information about serious misconduct that emerged in testimony. Yeah.
Really?
So he was officially fired March 19th of last year, 2025.
That took a while.
Yeah. It's a little bit too long.
Yeah, a little too long.
The trial board finds that he sent derogatory, defamatory, and disparaging and otherwise inappropriate text messages about a suspect. And he also provided sensitive or potential investigative steps in the investigation to non-law enforcement personnel.
No way. Like he did in that trial?
Yeah.
No way.
Also, he'd been drinking on the job. Not great.
No.
Yeah.
Not a good look, bud.
No. Proctor tries to appeal his termination, but in October 2025, he dropped it after his legal team is informed about the content found during an extraction of his iCloud account.
Ew.
Apparently, there were highly sensitive information, including images of intimate body parts of people not participating in the chat.
Ugh.
Yikes. Yeah.
Gross.
Icky. December 2025, the Massachusetts Post Commission suspends Proctor's certification, permanently barring him from working in law enforcement in Massachusetts.
Nice.
Yeah. The lead investigator on a major murder case is fired. April 1st, 2025, Karen Reed's
Holy moly.
second
This is
trial.
very recent. Okay.
Yeah. Her
Yeah.
second trial began. This time, the prosecution is led by Special Deputy District Attorney Hank Brennan, who is famous for having defended Whitney Bulger. Karen's defense adds New York Attorney Robert Alessi and Victoria Brophy George to the team. On the very first day, Karen files an emergency request to the U.S. Supreme Court to delay proceedings and dismiss 2 charges based on double jeopardy. Both are denied.
Oh.
The trial proceeds. The prosecution presents essentially the same case. The blood alcohol level, the timeline, the taillight, forensic analysis. Like nothing has changed. They bring in witnesses to testify that John's injuries align with being hit by Karen's Lexus in reverse. The defense counters, again, with their own experts challenging everything. They focus on the dog bite theory, the investigative failures, and the planted evidence allegations. There's disputes over the DNA evidence, mistrial motions, which are all denied, and the prosecution rests on May 29th, 2025. The defense rests on June 11th. Jury deliberations began on June 13th. Outside of the courthouse, same scene, but bigger this time because it's her second trial. Like all the protesters. And then 5 days later, June 18th, 2025, the jury reaches a verdict. Karen Reed is found not guilty of second-degree murder.
I agree.
Yeah. Not guilty of leaving the scene of a collision resulting in death, but she is found guilty of operating under the influence, which...
Yeah, well, whatever. Fine, take your license. Who cares?
Yeah,
At
and
this
it's
point.
like... That one's hard to argue because of the blood alcohol level.
Murder or driving
DUI.
drunk. Take it.
For the DUI conviction, Karen receives 1 year of probation and she has to participate in the Commonwealth's 2,4-D program, which includes outpatient treatment, suspended driver's license, all that. After nearly 3.5 years, 2 trials, countless headlines, and a community torn apart, Karen is free. Where does this leave us? John O'Keefe is still dead. Nobody's been charged in his murder. His family has filed a wrongful death lawsuit against Karen Reed and the 2 bars in Canton, accusing them of over-serving Karen.
No.
Yeah.
I don't like that. No, take responsibility. You don't blame someone else for your indulgence. No.
Okay, again, I'm like a professional fence sitter. So I see both sides. You can't tell a drunk person anything.
Wait, okay, so what do you mean?
As a bar, you can't take their keys away. You can try. You can't stop them from leaving, but legally you can't. What you can do is stop serving them. Even I, in my youth, have been stopped, served. Or they'll be like, I remember one time I got like really drunk at Earl's and they were like, do you have a ride home? Yeah. And they were like, can you prove to me that you have a ride? And I'm like, yeah, we're in the middle of Calgary. Like I could take an Uber in 5 seconds. But we had to prove to them that we were taking a ride. Like they were like very aggressive about it to make sure. Otherwise, they were going to stop serving us liquor. It's a 2-person thing, I think. Like, I do think you have to take responsibility for yourself, but you can't tell a drunk person anything. And drunk people are very confident. You and I both know. We think we're hilarious.
Yeah, I am hilarious. But I disagree. And this will be just another thing that we disagree on.
Yeah, that's fair.
I'm okay with that. Because if we agreed on everything, it would be a very boring friendship.
It's true, yeah.
I don't think it's fair, especially if there is a traumatic incident. Yeah. To blame someone who isn't really involved. And that's not the right way to put it all the time. But in the situation of a patron buying alcohol and then the person serving it to them, I don't think it's fair. Because who's the server? Like maybe it's a teenager.
It's true. No, and like this is why I'm a professional fence sitter.
Yeah, it's a tricky situation, but I think it is the patron's fault for overindulging and not making a plan to drive home. So there are very sad stories where people drive drunk on the way home and an accident, and then a family is left without their family member. Yeah. Yes, that's horribly sad, but I don't think it's the server's fault. I always strongly believe that person made a decision. They shouldn't have. I think it's a poor decision.
Yeah.
Because they risked their family and they gambled and they lost. But it's not, in my opinion, the surfer's fault. I think it is the individual's fault.
No, I see both sides of it. Like, I'm not even in, like, one big camp.
I see both sides, but I'm strongly in my camp.
No, it's a tough one. It's a tough one. And when I put myself in their shoes, when I think about his family and, like, why they sued the bar, I get it. Because your son died. From his parents' perspective, like, your son died. You're feeling what I imagine to be such despair and anger. And, like, it's the 7 stages of grief. And you're at this point, you're probably fucking angry. And you need to take that grief and somebody needs to deal with it. Like, you're like, you need to channel it and blame somebody.
Someone needs to be accountable.
Yeah.
Yes. No, that's fair.
So I get it. I'm like, you know what? If I was them, I'd be fucking suing everybody.
I think my problem was this younger generation. You're always looking for someone else to blame. It's never putting the onus on the victim. Because sometimes the victim is the wrongdoer.
Yeah.
But nobody wants to admit that.
No, I don't think that's the case here.
No,
like,
I don't think so.
Just like, what? Like, I don't know what the fuck.
I don't think he went out into the snow and hit himself on the head. Or bit his own arm. I don't think. This would be a very different story. It's
60 seconds or whatever. He was in that house. What happened? Did he just go in and somebody just fucking knocked him out? And why?
Why did they go to that house?
Yeah, I want to know what the cover up. And like Karen said that she was feeling uneasy about going into the house before, and she was like, I don't know, can you check it out? And then he checked it out and then died in 60 seconds. Like, who the fuck are these people?
But then, like, for her, she's being charged with his murder. What if she had gone in that house? What if she was another victim?
That's true.
So it's fortunate that she didn't go with him and she sent him first.
Or, like, again, like, if she went in with him, would he still be alive?
Who knows? Yeah, or they'd both be dead.
All of the shit probably, like, haunts her.
Of course it would. Yeah. Especially because she didn't kill him.
Yes. No, I don't think she did. And it's funny, when this was all kind of unfolding, I had seen the first set of evidence, I guess. Fuck, for sure she did it. Because they were showing, like, the taillights and everything. Like, there was no knowledge of the other side. And then the more came out, I was like, oh, she didn't do it. Like, what the fuck? As soon as I heard Boston Police Department... Nothing against Boston. Nobody sue us.
Kind of shit the bed on this one, though.
Yeah. Brian Albert's family has never been charged with anything. Jennifer McCabe, sketchy bitch, allegedly, had never been charged.
Or something. This is getting out of hand.
It's weird.
Yeah.
Brian Higgins has never been charged, and nobody from inside of that house has ever faced any criminal consequences at all.
Oh, so he just had sudden death syndrome.
Literally, as an adult.
With his head.
Yeah.
Like, okay.
So Michael Proctor, fired. Certification suspended, permanently banned from law enforcement. Sergeant Yuri Buchanek, another investigator on the case, he was suspended and transferred to an administrative role.
So he's obviously bad at his job also.
Yeah. Canton Police Detective Kevin Albert, so that's Brian's brother, he was placed on leave and then given a 3-day suspension without pay.
3 days?
Yeah, and I'm like, well, what did you do? Boston police officer Kelly Dever, she resigned in September of 2025. She had been working dispatch for Canton PD the morning of John's death, and she had access to security camera feeds. She told the FBI in August of 2023 that she saw ATF agent Brian Higgins and then former Canton Police Chief Kenneth Berkowitz alone with Karen's vehicle in the Sally Port for, quote, a wildly long time, unquote. But then she recanted during the trial, calling it a false memory.
She got tormented then.
Yeah.
Someone got to her.
Canton police officer Sean Good was also placed on administrative leave in November 2025. He had relations to this case. It also had bizarre ripple effects. In July 2025, a woman from Dracut, I don't know, Massachusetts, was charged with criminal contempt by U.S. District Attorney's Office. She allegedly disclosed sealed information from a federal grand jury, including witness names and testimony.
What?
Unnamed sources told the Boston Globe that she was a grand juror in the John O'Keefe case, though the U.S. Attorney's Office never confirmed it. Isn't that insane?
That is weird.
The case has divided Canton. There had been rolling rallies of Karen supporters driving throughout town, stopping at the homes of the witnesses and protesting via bullhorn.
Oh, no, I don't like that.
Which, like... No. I'm all for supporting a cause, but fucking simmer down.
Yeah. No. Yeah, everyone deserves some privacy, though.
Yeah, like, relax, man. They were just a witness to, like, a horrible event. Like, they're dealing with their own shit.
I don't mind if you like, picket at the courthouse. Fine. Yeah.
Do that. Yeah.
Show your support. I don't care.
Like,
Peacefully, I would
standing
say.
outside of people's houses?
No, you've taken multiple steps too far.
Yeah.
Bud.
At Canton Select Board meetings, residents who supported Karen confronted Chris Albert and called for accountability. 3 of them said that their lawns were later vandalized with bleach balloons.
Ew, that's awful.
Yeah.
And dangerous.
I think they just wanted to ruin their lawn.
Assholes. How old are they?
I'm like, bleach balloons. I'm like...
Neil would cry if somebody ruined his grass.
That's what I mean.
Bleach balloons. Like, are these people in their 20s?
No, bleach balloons, I'm like, these are people in their 30s. Because your 30s are when you start to care and give a shit about your lawn.
Yeah, that's fair.
And then you know that other people also care and give a shit about their lawn. So you're like, well, how am I going to get you where it really hurts?
Your grass. Oh.
There's no coming back from that either.
No. I kill patches of your lawn for years.
You're done for. August 2023, there was a citizen ballot initiative to add recall elections to the Massachusetts Constitution, specifically targeting Norfolk District Attorney Michael Morrissey. In November, Canton held a special town meeting where residents voted 903 to 800 in favor of an independent audit of Canton police.
Wow, good. So enough people saw how crooked it was. Good for the people speaking up.
I know, right? So that audit was completed in 2025, and they found exactly what the defense had been arguing. Officers didn't take pictures of the body. Witness interviews were not conducted promptly or recorded, and there was no police presence at the Albert House. And Canton police did not turn over key video footage, and there were systemic failures across the board.
So did they agree they were shit at their job, or they're just bad humans and were covering up? It's never definitive?
Yeah, it's never really been defined. But an independent survey after the trial found that only 4% of registered voters in Canton supported Morrissey. 4%!
Yeah, that's not...
Yeah.
That's peanuts.
So then local journalist Aidan Kearney supported the case, or covered the case extensively on his website under the headline Canton Cover-Up.
Wow.
He went to Canton, filmed himself confronting witnesses, posted videos on YouTube, and his coverage is what really made this case go national. But in December of 2023, Kearney was indicted on 8 counts of witness intimidation, 3 counts of conspiracy to intimidate witnesses, and 5 counts of picketing a witness. Then he was also charged with harassing a witness, intercepting wire or oral communication, and he pled not guilty. Then in June of 2024, Kearney was dining at CF McCarthy, which was the bar, when he got into confrontation outside. 2 people were later charged with assaulting. And then, shortly after the first trial, someone hung a dead turtle outside of his parents' house in Worcester.
Oh my God.
Worcester?
Worcestershire.
There's no H. That's why it's throwing me. I'm like, Worcester? Worcester? I don't know. Police investigated as harassment and animal cruelty.
Yeah, I would leave the parents' house alone, I think.
Yeah.
And also animals.
Yeah. What did the fucking turtle do to you?
Yeah.
Jesus Christ.
Slow down.
There's all sorts of documentaries that are coming out about this case. Netflix is going to do like a 3-part documentary. The Dateline NBC did an incredible episode on this case. So many podcasts about this case. It's everywhere. So after all this, 2 trials, hundreds of witnesses, thousands of pages of evidence, millions of dollars spent, what actually happened to John O'Keefe? The honest answer is we still don't know for sure.
What?
Nobody knows.
I hate it when there's no ending.
Brian is like that too. I'm like,
Drives me crazy.
I love it because I can speculate. Yeah. So if you believe the prosecution, Karen Reed got drunk, angry, backed into her boyfriend with her SUV and left him to die.
No.
If you believe the defense, John was beaten, possibly attacked by a dog inside the house, and then dragged outside, left to die. The truth is probably somewhere in between, or maybe it's something else entirely. But what we know for certain is this. John O'Keefe died on January 29, 2022. He was a good man, a dedicated father to his niece and nephew, a veteran police officer, and he deserved better than what happened to him, and he deserved a competent investigation into his death. The investigation was deeply, deeply flawed.
We could go really crazy with this and be like, he was a clean cop trying to clean up the dirty cops.
Oh my God,
and then they got him.
There's a lot of speculation about this case. Like, people are wild.
Good.
Both sides had legitimate points. The prosecution had circumstantial evidence pointing to Karen's guilt, and the defense exposed real serious problems with the investigation that created reasonable doubt. In a different world, with a competent investigation from the start, maybe we would have answers. Maybe we would know definitively what had happened, and maybe there'd be justice for John O'Keefe, but we don't live in that world. We live in a world where a veteran police officer died in the snow, where the investigation was bungled or corrupted, where a woman faced 2 murder trials, where a community was torn apart, and where truth became a matter of perspective. John O'Keefe is still dead. Karen Reid is free. No one else has been charged. The case is closed legally, but not emotionally, culturally, or in the hearts and minds of the people of Canton and Boston. And that's it. It doesn't really feel like an ending, but...
It's not an ending.
No.
What
it feels...
to those kids?
Yeah, I know, because they lost their parents.
Gosh.
And then they lost their caretaker.
Mm-hmm.
There's interviews, I think, with the daughter or the girl. I think she was interviewed as well, and
it's very sad.
It's very sad, but
I hope they had a kinship care. Like, I hope they were able to find some other family to care for them, as opposed to like going into the system.
I hope so.
What do you think? What are your thoughts?
Definitely didn't do it.
Yeah, I agree.
And again, I'm a professional fence sitter. I can see both sides. I do not see the prosecution side at all.
No. Definitely not. It's definitely a cover up.
Yeah, that's really sketchy.
Yeah.
Like, something else is going on and something needs to be addressed here.
I don't know if I would have left, though. Like,
Yeah.
if it were Neil and I, before we had kids together, even at my maddest at him, if I thought something was happening or he didn't text me back once he was in there, I would have gone in there after him.
Yeah.
I would not have driven away without him.
I wouldn't do that to Brian, but I've been in a toxic relationship before where I would have for sure done that to him.
I agree with you.
Yeah.
Also, I have left before, but...
And I think, like, based on their history, I'm like, it sounded like I wasn't there, but it sounded a little bit toxic.
Mm-hmm.
So, I, like, just thinking back to that, I'm like, yeah, I probably would have left you if you were pissing me off.
I had left, a douchebag boyfriend before. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. But I mean, like, not saying that John O'Keefe was a douchebag, just like if you guys are constantly fucking fighting and like it's toxic.
It's a toxic relationship.
Yeah.
Then yes, I would have left. Yeah. I think she did not do it. I think someone in the house killed him, covered it up.
So quickly too. Like, what were you, just waiting by the door?
They must have just been waiting for him to get there.
And like, why? Like,
Why'd you go
did
there?
he know? Like, to me, he knew something. He knew something was going on.
I think so. Maybe he was hoping to reason it out or get evidence. Maybe they wanted to talk about something he had seen.
Yeah, and he was like a loose end.
I think so.
Ugh.
But again, this is not based on anything that we know.
Yeah, allegedly. Everything is alleged
alleged.
and not fact.
Yeah.
Thank you.
In our opinion. And
That's
in my opinion,
opinion,
she is innocent. Maybe not a great partner in this relationship,
No.
but...
They're a very good-looking couple, I will say.
Oh, were they?
Yeah.
Mm.
You'll see when you Google them.
Oh, so he probably has a full head of hair then, you're saying?
No.
Oh.
But, like, arguably, he was a pretty good-looking guy. And, like, she's a pretty good-looking girl. You'll see.
Well, it remains to be seen.
Anyways, sorry for ruining your day.
Bye.
Bye.